So I'm delighted to say that Andrea Williams is on the telephone to us now by Skype. Andrea, it's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time from your busy day to talk to us today.
Good to be with you.
Andrea, safe havens. If you were talking about Syria or Iraq or some other country in the Middle East, I could understand it. But safe havens in the United Kingdom, do we really need them?
Yes, we do. Isn't that an extraordinary statement?
Yep.
Who could have ever imagined it? But we are living with that reality here in the United Kingdom. In fact, it's been growing for many, many years, and we've seen in many highly Islamised pockets here in the United Kingdom, in places such as East Ham, Stratford, Dewsbury, Bradford, Luton, Slough, Reading, very highly Islamized areas where Sharia law operates within the community, where women in particular within that community have very little access to justice. And we've been seeing this brewing for quite some time. But now what we're beginning to get is situations where those trying to get out of the community, out of the system, are finding themselves under threat, in fear of their lives. And the catalyst for launching Safe Haven, although we'd known of this for many, many years, was the story of a young woman born and raised in West London who almost literally turned up on the doorstep of Christian Concern, saying that she wanted to leave behind Islam, but had been told by her father that if she did so, she would be killed, that she would be brutalized. And we had this situation in the early months of the summer this year, and we realised that what we were witnessing with her was just the tip of the iceberg, that many people were finding themselves in this situation. And at Christian Concern, as a public organisation that seeks to speak publicly on these kinds of matters, we knew that it was time for us to raise this matter as a matter of public importance. And so that is why we have launched the Safe Haven project.
I've been looking at the Times piece that I've got here, which says Evangelical Group offers safe haven for converted Muslims. And that says, for Pressure Group claims there are currently thousands of ex-Muslims who've been placed in safe houses for their protection. Is that really accurate?
Now, the figure with regard to how many are being saved, certainly we are not dealing with thousands of people at this particular time. We are dealing with a small group of people, but a group of people at this particular time, and we know of others. And what we are actually working with a number of people who run safe houses or have networks that run safe houses. What I have found as I've begun to work with these groups and work with others such as Nissa Hussein and Mohammed Fiaz, what I have found as I begin to work with these men and women who are in the communities is that very few people that are safe housing want to speak or can even give an accurate number. Those that want to speak are indeed very few, and many often remain in their community in fear. So I think what we have is a reality here in the United Kingdom where there is a situation where many, particularly women, are unable to access British justice because they're living under Sharia law. They're unable to do that, and we know that helplines to help these women receive hundreds of calls throughout the year to seek to help them. So we have that level of help that is needed. But we also have the level of help that is needed whereby people are actually safe housed. But you see, it's quite complicated because that story that I was telling you about just before, she was a strong young woman, but extraordinarily, although attending a London university, said that not one Caucasian had spoken to her in the 2 years that she'd been at university. And in the end, when she realised that to be safe housed would mean that she would have to cut off contact completely with her family, with her sister in particular, she felt that she simply could not do it. And so what did she do? She went back into the situation. She renounced the stated position that she'd told her family that she was going to leave Islam. She went back into the hijab. She went back into the rules of Islam and is there still today. So that's another story of what's happened. That's our story here at Christian Concern. But you know, I've sat in this very room where I am broadcasting or Skyping with you from, where a woman born and raised in Portsmouth, in a kind of regular Indian takeaway type setup, found herself sold, or rather put into an arranged marriage at 14, sought to escape, lived in fear, managed to get out, get into a Christian hostel, but absolute trauma of such a situation. Again, just being raised in what appears, you know, it seems to be a normal everyday situation within our communities. So there are lots of different levels that this touches the surface of. So it's complex, but it's something that we need to raise. It's something that we need to raise the issue on. And I think what we're increasingly fearing and seeing here in the UK is that in our universities, we're finding that young men and women are actually being radicalized from here and going out and going to Iraq, going to Syria, going to these places, but actually being radicalized within our universities. What we're seeing in the communities, in the mosque situations, in the schools, in the state schools, is increasing radicalization. What we're seeing is essentially Sharia law operating, halal meat only, observation of the prayer call, Fridays being observed as the holy day. Even in a local school in Sussex, where I live, I was hearing of a Church of England, Middle England school having kids write about Muhammad and then putting after it, peace be upon him, in order to respect the Prophet.